Hello, wonderful. It is Sarah, and I'm here with Arielle Ford, who has written, you ready for it? 12 books. I am so utterly impressed by her already and impressed by the things that we have been talking about in regards to love, addiction to suffering. And she has a statement which says she thinks online dating is the best thing that has happened to romance. So I know you guys are as curious as I am to hear her answer for why. Hello, Arielle. How are you?
I'm good, Sarah. It's so much fun to be with you.
Oh, I love it. And I hate that our listeners can't see your beautiful, beautiful top. It is hot pink, and then it's not really rhinestones. I don't know what to say, but it's just gorgeous.
It's little sequins.
It's sequins. I love it.
I got dressed up for you. I don't get dressed up very often. I mostly live in torn t-shirts, but I'm going to see Sarah today, so I'll put something nice on.
It's beautiful, and it lifts your spirits, right? When you fill your life with color, whether it be through colorful conversations, as I think this one is going to be, or colorful outfits. So, Arielle, why do you believe in online dating and believe that it is actually good for our romantic lives?
Well, we've all learned how to shop online. Okay, we've become masters of shopping online, and we know what we want, right? We have clarity. Oh, I need to go to Macy's.com. I'm looking for a black cocktail dress. I want a scoop neck, knee length, long sleeves, silk, and then we sort, and then we try it on. We ship it to us. We try it on. We don't like it. We send it back. So dating is really the same thing online, but it's a time saver. We don't have to drive to the mall. We don't have to drive to the bar, drive to the party. And we get to try it on with video chats ahead of time. So we're not wasting a lot of time. So it's just the biggest time saver ever on the planet. Now, yes, I know it takes effort. I know people are bitching, moaning, whining, complaining, it's so hard, I don't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. Get over it. You actually have two choices here. You can commit and you can learn how to do it right, and you can make it fun. You can actually make it a spiritual, sacred practice if you'd like. Or you can, as we were talking about earlier, you can die alone. That's also your other choice. So do you want to make it fun and get the results, or do you want to be alone a year from today?
Mm-hmm. And I've seen a lot of people treat it as a job they have to go to and hate, rather than bringing their joy and best selves into the experience. Is that what you've seen as well?
Some of them, I pretty much actually won't work with negative people. If I'm going to spend my time coaching somebody, I want somebody who's fully committed to getting the result, who's coachable and has an open heart and an open mind and knows that they're a queen and they're in search of a king, and it is a search. So, one of the analogies I like to give is like, imagine, Sarah, that you are a single mom of 3 kids, and your ex-husband isn't paying child support, and you get fired from your job. Okay? Now you got to feed these kids. You could sit at home on your couch with your hand to your forehead going, oh, well, if it's meant to be for me to have a job will find me. You could do that, which is what women are doing with their lives, their single lives. Or you would know what to do. I'm going to update my resume. I'm going to get online. I'm going to tell everybody I know I'm looking for. And you would have total confidence that at some point you will find a job. Now, is it hard? Yes. But is it worth doing? Well, you actually don't even have a choice. So if you have the desire to have love in your life, you really don't have a choice. Why don't you have a choice? Because as much as you're desiring to find your soulmate life partner, there's somebody out there yearning for you. And it's your job to be visible. And the fastest, easiest, cheapest way to be visible is online. That's why I say online dating is the best thing to ever happen to romance.
Well, I love that. Now, you also said something else interesting, which is some people become addicted to suffering in the process or in any process of their life. Can you explain what you meant by that?
Yes, because, our brains have wires in them and pathways and synapses and all this technical stuff I can't give the right terms to. But when you're complaining about the same thing over and over and over again, you're making it true for yourself. You're making these grooves in your neural pathways that just have you in this constant state of negativity. And it's a form of suffering, and you're used to it, you know, and it's your job as an adult to cut it out, to notice when you're doing it. Oh, I hear I'm bitching and moaning again. I'm making fun of all the losers online. Well, listen, I'm sure your coach has already told you 90% or more of the people you meet online are going to be losers. Why are you surprised, right? You're going to have a lot of terrible dates. Why are you surprised? It's just a process, and you're only looking for one. So give up the suffering, you know, trick yourself into feeling excitement and enthusiasm you don't feel necessarily, because you know at the end of the day, you're going to find the one. And I'm going to give you a couple stories to point this out. I have a girlfriend named Liz. She's 59 now, but when Liz turned 49, she was never married, and she decided this was her year. She was going on to Match.com, and she was going to do whatever it took to find her husband. And if at the end of 1 year she didn't find him, she was going to take a second mortgage out on her house and pay a matchmaker $100,000 to find her husband. Liz went out on 79 first dates in 9 months. And that doesn't count the men she went out with twice. 79 first dates in 9 months. But you know what? Number 80 was the one. And they've been happily married for 8 years now. And if you ask Liz, was it hard? She'll say yes. And you ask Liz, was it worth it? Absolutely. Even though he only lived a half mile away, we would have never met. And he was everything on her wish list.
Oh, I love that. I do love that. And when you think about 9 months, it seems like a long time. But when we think about 9 months of our children's lives, or 9 months that we tried the cello and didn't like it, or 9 months where, there's so much wasted 9-month blocks in our lives anyway.
And it's not a race. What's the race? What's the whole thing? Oh, well, I'm 38 and a half and my eggs are drying up. Okay, go freeze your eggs. We have technology for this. One of my really oldest friends gave birth to a full-term baby at 52. Okay.
Wow.
At 52. She didn't get married till she was 50. So, she ended up getting a donor egg and her husband's sperm, and now she's a mom and she's never been happier. So stop with this race thing, because I believe in divine timing. Okay. You may think you're ready today, but your absolute perfect right partner may be in the middle of a divorce, or maybe deployed overseas, or maybe moving to your town from cross country. We don't know, so just because you're in a hurry doesn't mean they're not on the way.
Do you have a favorite practice or strategy to pattern interrupt some of these? If the neural pathways are in victim mode, or there's terrible people out there, do you have a favorite exercise for pattern interrupt?
I do, but it's without being able to see everybody. I couldn't teach it to you, but it's EFT tapping.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So you can go onto Google and you put tapping for frustration, tapping for anger, tapping for resentment. I tap all the time for being annoyed, and it only takes a few minutes. It's easy and it works, and it's a distraction, and that's what you want to do. You want to distract yourself, and then you want to have a friend, an accountability partner who's there to be your cheerleader, to say, no, you promised you were going to go online a half hour every day. You were going to do 2 video chats a week, and I'm here to make sure you do it. I'm not here to support you in, oh, this is so hard. Oh, there's just losers out there. Because you have to keep remembering, you're only looking for one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, speaking of the one, you talked about one of your favorite things to discuss was soulmate. So why don't you give us your thoughts on finding your soulmate?
Yeah. So, let's define what a soulmate is. A soulmate is somebody you can completely be yourself with, somebody with whom you share unconditional love. And when you look into their eyes, you have the experience of being home.
Mm.
And if you think about it, there are already many people in your life that fit that description. It could be your parents, your kids, your siblings, your coworkers, your best friends, your cats, your dogs, all of whom you can completely be yourself with. You share unconditional love and you feel at home with them. So knowing this, the really, really good news is you already have many soulmates in your life. So the way to get a romantic soulmate is to have a daily gratitude process, a daily practice where you close your eyes, you drop into your heart, you focus on all the love you already have. You see the faces of all the people that are your soulmates. And when you do this, you make your heart magnetic to romantic love, and you put yourself into the mindset, love isn't missing. I have an abundance of love in my life. How lucky am I to be filled with love?
Mm-hmm. And with all the training I've done, with all the people exactly like you that I've talked to, that step does not seem to be able to be skipped.
No.
You know, whether it's a business coach and you're living in abundance before the money comes, whether it's a dating coach and you're living in love before the quote unquote lover comes, you know, it's a step everyone wants to skip, and a very
Here's the quantum reason why. So quantum science says a couple of things. One, quantum science says there is no past, there is no future, there is just this now moment. It also says that we are all connected to everything and everybody in the unified field. These are two proven quantum science facts. So in the unified field, where you are already connected to everything and everybody, you are already connected to your soulmate life partner. Now, the trick is, when are you going to meet them in the physical 3D world? Well, it's not your job to know when or how or why or where you're going to meet. It is your job to be open, willing, and available, knowing and trusting that the one you've asked for is already yours, and to live your life as if they're already in your life, because they are. So I give away a closed-eyed practice on my website called the Golden Cord Feelingization. And it's a way to meet your soulmate right now in this moment today. I call it love before first sight. So if you go to my soulmate, which is easy, love before first sight, right? It's, go to SOULMATESECRET.com. It's really easy, SOULMATESECRET.com. There's a tab called Free Stuff. And in Free Stuff, you will find the free Golden Cord Feelingization. And you do it every day, because every day you drop into your heart, you see this golden cord of light going into the field. It connects to another heart. You can't see their face. You don't know their name, but you start sharing love with them. You start talking to them. When I manifested my soulmate 24 years ago, I did this practice every day. And by the time we met a year later in the real world, we felt like we'd known each other forever. The relationship was already established because he was seeing my face in his dreams, even though we lived 3,000 miles apart and didn't know each other. This stuff's magic, and it really works.
I love that. Well, Arielle, tell people where they can find more about you. I know you started into that, but tell people more about you and where.
I'm super easy to find. SOULMATESECRET.com is my website. I have a newsletter that goes out every Tuesday. I'm at Facebook.com/SoulmateSecret. I'm on Instagram at Arielle Ford 44. I'm on Twitter. There's lots of freebies at the website. And really, the one thing I want to leave your listeners with is that there's no shortage of love in the world. There are almost 8 billion people alive today. Half of them are single. You're tripping over potential soulmates every single day, but because of your biases and your beliefs that there's only just one and you lost the one, or you're too old, you're too fat, you're too damaged, whatever Meshuggah stuff you're telling yourself, there's no shortage of love. What there is for a lot of people is a willingness to do what there is to do, to be in action, to spend time every day being online. And as my friend Carol Allen always says, if you go out on a date with somebody and they don't totally gross you out, then give them a second chance. Because you're going to miss a lot of diamonds in the rough if you don't give them a second chance. And I know you know that, but so many people think, especially spiritual women, they have the hardest time in love because they think they're intuitive. They think they're going to know within 20 seconds. And I promise you, you're not going to know. You're absolutely not going to know. This love at first sight nonsense, 1 out of a million people maybe. But if you feel something really strongly on that first date, chances are it's your pattern, and that is not a good thing.
So intuitively, you knew that the last question I always ask is, if you had 1 minute, you could broadcast something to the entire world. So I'm laughing because intuitively you answered my question before I asked.
Well, listen, I actually am deeply intuitive. And even though the moment Brian and I met, I knew, and he knew, and everybody in the room knew, and we got engaged 3 weeks later, I refused to get married until we'd been together for a year, because I was not going to trust that based on some feeling, I was going to commit everything to him, because I'm a very practical person. I was 44 when I got married. I'd never been married till 44. So I needed to know. I needed to meet his friends and family. I needed to get to know him. I needed to know that he was the kind of man who lived his life on purpose, who told the truth, who was worthy of my trust, right? So all the feelings were there. Oh, yes, we've known each other lifetimes. I'm remembering past lives with you. But does he have the capacity to be my husband? That's what takes a year to get to know.
I love it and agree. And I use an example of leading with expectations and then kind of having hope in the backpack just for a little while, just until you collect enough data to see them for who they are rather than for who you hope they end up being.
Right. None of us need a rehab or a fixer-upper. We can go to HGTV and see plenty of that, but not in our personal lives.
No. Have a partner and a project, and don't get them confused.
Brilliant.
You guys, check out Arielle. What was the name of your website one more time?
SOULMATESecret.com. SOULMATESecret.com, and go to the free stuff tab. That's where all the goodies are.
Awesome, Arielle. Thank you for helping us on our journey to becoming toxic person proof.